Hi, everybody. It's Jim Wanzeck with RE/MAX Masters Millennium, and we're at 6020 Greenwood Plaza Boulevard, and we're in the Mount Albert studio, which is one of our opportunities to get to know our agents a little bit better. And today we have Debra Reinhard. She has been with RE/MAX Masters since 2010, and we're here to get to know you a little bit better. So, hi, Debra. How are you doing?
I am doing excellent this morning. Thank you.
Well, thanks for being here. We really appreciate that. So what we like to kind of start out with, tell us a little bit about Debra and your history, a little bit about yourself growing up and that kind of thing.
Sure. Believe it or not, I'm from Boston. Occasionally those little accents will come out. People will make fun of me. Moved to Philly, and then from Philly, we got the opportunity to come here to Denver. That was back in 95. And of course, being from the East Coast, I said, Denver? What's like, there's nothing after Chicago until you get to California.
Of course.
So got out here and never left.
Yeah. People find out that we really do have an awesome place. I mean, centralized, and so we can fly anywhere, but you know, it's just the weather and everything is so beautiful.
You cannot beat the weather. I went back to the East Coast a couple years ago during the winter, and I could not get warm.
Yeah.
It's nothing like here. I would never leave.
Well, that's fantastic. So tell us about how your real estate career started then.
Oh, goodness. So like many other misguided people, I got in 2006 thinking I wanted to do investments. And we all know where that went.
Oh, sure. That was a tough time.
That was a tough time. I bounced around to various companies, just learning some investment side, never really finding a good footing. And 2010, when I came here, I said, well, either I'm going to make this my career or I'm going to get the heck out.
As you know, a lot of people in this industry, like 80% after the first 5 years, get out of the business. So that was your kind of your crossroads year. So I kind of understand that.
Yeah, and I interviewed at a few places and came here and interviewed with you, and I said, okay, this is it. I'm going to go give it my all, and been here ever since.
Well, and you've done a fantastic job, you know, because you really care about your clients and you really are concerned. I mean, the conversations that we've had over the years, just trying to make sure that, you know, you're doing things the right way, but always in keeping your consumers in front of you and in mind. And so I really appreciate that about you.
Yeah, thank you. It's just coming from a place of service and really getting into this to do the best for people. I remember interviewing with someone, and I said, oh, yeah, you know, I really want to help people. And they just kind of laughed and said, oh, well, that's what everybody gets into it. But my background, I worked on an ambulance to put myself through college and then was in physical therapy. So I always had that helping mindset, right? And that's what comes first. I think so many people, and you can just see it, they're so desperate for the deal. Or
Very much so.
In a lot of industries, not just real estate, that they don't put the clients first and their needs first.
Right.
And so that was a commitment I had just made to myself. It's really all about the doing what's best for the client.
So what do you kind of like as far as specialize? I mean, do you just deal with your clients as they come? I mean, what's your specialty? What would you say then?
Well, I know. And that's one thing they taught you from the very beginning, you know, find your niche, find your niche. So I would have to say, and please don't laugh, it's really just people who like dogs.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask you about your passion there, so we that's coming out a little bit.
Yeah, but in all honesty, it's really just those first-time home buyers, and typically, since I do work 100% by referral, you know, nice people know nice people know nice people. And the majority of them just happen to be dog lovers,
right,
as well.
Well, you know, and I really kind of believe that, you know, working from referrals is the best type, and keeping your clients in front of you is such a much better obtainable and more, I think, fun about the business compared to, always that internet stuff that we're always trying to chase. And we have to do that to keep our baseline. But, I really think a warm referral like what you do is just really a great a way to do business.
Yeah. I mean, back in 9, 10, well, maybe 8, 9, and 10, right before I joined here, I did build a lot of my business by realtor.com because I have no family here. But those people turned into my clients and my advocates, and I'm on maybe some of my 4th and 5th transactions from those people.
Right.
And really, that's where your loyalty is from all your past clients. Today, people just want a Pop-Tart. They want to press the button and have you meet them at the property. They don't care about you. They don't care about the services you offer.
Yeah.
They just want a deal and someone to show them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain segment of that out there. But hey, tell me a little bit about, your experience with COVID. I mean, with last year, maybe we're getting back to normal here. It sounds like it. We're not wearing the mask if you're vaccinated. But kind of tell me some of the pitfalls and challenges of dealing with your customers during that time.
So, oh boy, I had a client under contract right at the beginning, and the banks trying to get a loan. They didn't know what they were doing. They were working from home, didn't streamline their services. We got delayed and delayed. It was initially very frustrating. And then, as you know, trying to figure out how to hold a virtual open house with technology. I wish I were a little bit more gifted in that, but we all have our strengths. So that part was frustrating, how to get eyes on a property.
Right.
I also found the governor's guidelines a little bit confusing, if you will.
Sure.
We're essential, we're not essential. You can see the house after you go under contract. And I don't think he really understood.
Right.
What was, you can't just get a house under contract. You actually have to go see the house.
Right.
And there's always been maybe a small percentage of my business, 0.5%, that I've sold houses all through my career where people have never seen it.
Right.
So it's nothing new, but the urgency, because we're also in a housing crisis.
Right.
Where people wanted to get in, they wanted to buy houses. So that was, it was definitely something to overcome.
Yeah.
And reassure your sellers, like, hey, I'm gonna take care of you, don't worry. This is what we're gonna do during showings. This is all the PPP I'll be providing for you. We'll keep you safe. Actually, most of my sellers were fairly confident, believe it or not, about letting people in their house.
Good.
I think I was maybe a little bit more stressed about it than they were. They were like, no, we'll just clean up. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we get bombarded with all of the information. We have to disseminate that to our clients. But, how has it been dealing with a housing? You said a housing crisis, and, we have very, very short inventory. Tell me about how you've dealt with that with your buyers.
Well, interestingly enough, I've always been very buyer heavy in my career, and I've been blessed. The last 8 months, I've had mostly listings.
Okay.
But now those listings are buyers. And luckily, they came out with enough money that we could be competitive.
Right.
But I looked back, 2017, I mean, I remember lines out the door of people just trying to get in properties, losing property after property. So I haven't had that much of that, but I suspect I'll be getting a little bit more. But even those buyers that are buying out of state, because as you know, a lot of people are leaving our state for a little bit more bountiful pastures like Texas.
All right.
Oklahoma, where there's not as much of a crisis, and guiding them as they're just like, oh my God, what do I do?
Right.
And, just having them lean into me and reassure them that you're going through the same thing that the 10 other offers
Right.
that didn't get your home
Yeah.
went through.
Yep.
So I think it's all about preparation. I had a buyer consultation yesterday with someone who was in the market maybe 3 years ago and then just decided to postpone for various reasons. And I'm preparing them that even in $600,000 price range, we'll be looking at appraisal gaps and discussing different strategies to make their offer stand out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we as agents are always look for is how we can put our clients in an advantage, giving what their situation is. Because, we see a lot of fallout because agents are pushing and pushing and pushing so hard that, the consumers are saying, okay, today we'll accept that. Tomorrow, things aren't so much.
Yeah, I had one drop out for that very, they bid up, wrote this letter, guaranteed the sun, the moon, and the stars.
Right.
Went back on inspection and canceled on inspection. And I'm just like, well, I know I had the property pre-inspected. There's nothing wrong with the house. But they changed their mind.
Well, and that is, at least this is still America, and we have buyers to be able to do that and
Yes.
have that opportunity because, I know a lot of people are taking away all the inspections and all the appraisal gaps where they may not even have the risk of that appraisal is really, really high because
Yes.
it's out of our hands. We don't be able to control that, so that's kind of scary. But, I think that's a natural occurrence, but you've always been able to calm people down and help them feel comfortable with their decisions. And because you're so prepared and you explain that to them, I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, and I think, also being on the listing side, preparing your sellers, hey, the highest offer isn't necessarily the best offer, right? Let's look at people's motivations for purchasing.
Right.
Let's dig in a little bit deeper. Let's, find out what their buying experience has been.
Okay.
And let's also find out about their agent.
Right.
Have they done more than 2 deals this year?
Yes. Yes.
So, just as you said, just really trying to prepare listings as well as your buyers. I think it's just, that's key.
So you've always told me that you really appreciate what we have to offer here at Masters, but tell me a little bit of, maybe some of the points why that you do.
Well, I know I joke around with you that you always pick up the phone, but that is true. And I always know that I can call you or Andy or other experienced agents in the office if I need advice or assistance. I think oftentimes I've seen in other offices there's little egos going on, and people aren't as open or sharing.
Right.
So, just a great environment. The technology we have here that you provide for us is second to none.
Like we were in right now.
Like we're in right now. But, all the tools that I have for my clients, I can sit there. I use the home valuation report a lot. I'll send it to clients, whether it's, we're talking about maybe listing in a couple months. Hey, this is where your values are now. And it just gives me a benchmark because your clients are going on Zillow,
Right.
whether they're buyers or sellers.
Sure.
Or they're going on Redfin, they're watching the market. And so you have a sense of what they're doing. And really, Home and Do just sets us apart.
Yeah, it's something that we really enjoy doing, and I think it's just consumer driven as we all are. And I think our community of realtors, the sharing and not the ego so much. I know that
Right.
everybody's trying to jockey position to be, hey, I'm this and that. But, I think we just have a business environment that really is calm and calming and support that you've got our back. And so it's really makes me very comfortable because I have that comfort level too.
Right. I mean, I've called people just, hey, I have this weird situation. can you help me? And everyone's always been just so gracious. I mean,
Yeah.
even after 15 years, and I'm sure you've been doing this just a hair longer.
A little bit.
There's stuff that comes up that you
Oh.
haven't encountered before.
I tell people 20 years ago I knew an attorney. Now one's right next door to me. And it's not because we do things wrong. It's because of the litigious society that we live in, and to make sure that we cover our bases so we take care of our clients, because he represents you and I.
Right.
And, it's important that we have that understanding of what current events, when COVID laws came out or policies comes out, Andy's always right there. And I think when we have classes, the elevation of the amount of better information that we have rather than the X's and O's. We're beyond that. We want to get to the top of the opportunities.
Right. And I think that one thing that you do is you really, what's the word? Inspire us all to be better, right? Like, don't just sit on what you know, but like, let's go learn something new.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you're not, learning, you're
Well,
dying.
and I'll tell you, we'll end kind of a little bit with this, but I think, our clients belly to belly. I always talk about belly to belly. If you're in front of your clients, you've got a great opportunity to be successful because you're putting yourself in that right position. And I love that opportunity that we have every day, because you never know when you get up, ready to go out and do business, opportunities will present themselves and people think, oh, that's luck. That's not luck. That's putting us in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, that's if you read stories of success that look like they happen overnight, you don't know the backstory.
Right.
And how hard, whether it's musician or someone like John, I think it was John Grisham, who is an attorney, and he practiced law. Every day he would write a page or two, and it took him about 2 years to publish his first novel. But it looks like, oh no, he was an overnight
Exactly.
success.
Yeah.
So you really inspire us to go do that.
Well, I want to thank you for spending some time with me. I want you to know that, Debra, if you really are serious about getting to know a great agents, how would we get a hold of you?
Well, you can call me or text me, or I respond to smoke signals too.
Okay.
Or Instagram, because
Yeah.
I have kids. 303-957-8329.
Well, I've really enjoyed talking to you. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, we'll see you next time. I hope you've enjoyed this section, and we'll be back soon.